you looking to know more about your physical therapy marketing? Maybe you're just getting started and you're just wondering where to begin because there's so much information that's out there, right? And so today I'll be sharing the only 3 marketing strategies that you need to fill your initial caseload and scale your practice to whatever revenue you want to. For us, we're able to scale this to over $120,000 a month using just the 3 strategies I'm going to be talking about here today. So in case you don't know me, my name is Jordan Mather. I'm the co-founder of Clinical Marketer, where we help cash physical therapists grow and scale their practice by teaching them to work smarter, not harder. And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing all of you here today. So most cash practices rely entirely on growing their practices organically through walk-ins, through referrals, through word of mouth, and just letting everything grow organically. And although there's really nothing wrong with growing organically, it's very difficult to get your practice off the ground and exit the startup phase because it's entirely unpredictable and relies 100% on your time. This is why most practice owners, they give up and their side hustle never turns into a real business because they're focused so much on just kind of this hope and pray style of marketing and growth. So most cash practices fail because they never actually reach 5 figures a month. And those who do typically take 6 to 12 months to actually reach $10,000 a month where they can actually pay themselves, and they're relying entirely on just hard-nosed hustle style marketing to get there. And so what if you don't have 6 to 12 months to have a full schedule where you can actually pay your bills, support your family, support yourself? What if you're burnt out, you're working a job that just crushes your soul and underpays, and you have mouths to feed and bills to pay, and you just don't know what to do? Not everyone has the time and luxury to just be able to wait for organic methods to take hold. And so in order to grow our practices, we really need to have a multi-disciplined approach in order to really get us there. And so we need to be able to have a strategy in place that gets you to profitability as quickly as possible. And that's what we're going to be sharing here. So if you are like Ben and myself, and you're looking to build a cash heavy practice that is working with people who are highly invested in their health and whose identities are actually at risk if they choose to not work with you, you've definitely come to the right place. And so before I begin, if you guys get value out of today's training, be sure to smash that like button and that love button and drop us a comment. We greatly appreciate it. It definitely fuels me up and helps me feel really good and deliver an even better training. But our mission is to impact as many cash physical therapy practice owners as humanly freaking possible and to ultimately grow the profession. And we cannot do that unless you guys help us by letting us know what's good, what's not, liking our stuff, sharing our stuff, commenting on it, because otherwise Facebook and YouTube do not realize that we got and produce pretty good shit and a lot of really valuable stuff for you guys. And so don't hold back. Like our stuff, comment it, share it, because then Facebook's going to show it to more people and we're able to impact more lives. So smash that like button, leave us a comment, ask us a question. We're happily circle back and get through that towards the end. So let's just dive in here, right? So before you can really understand where to focus your marketing efforts, you need to understand the practice marketing matrix and all the different marketing opportunities that are available for practice owners. And so there's quite a few different types of marketing. It's really challenging to figure out where on earth should you actually focus your marketing efforts today, because every single person has some sort of marketing tactic or new secret strategy that they're saying is going to just change your life and get you a ton of new patients. And it's really hard to figure out where you should put your focus. So today I'm going to make it super simple and tell you exactly where you should focus and kind of show you the pros and cons of all of the different marketing options that you have at your disposal. So without further ado, there's really 4 different core areas that we want to focus on when it comes to our marketing. Okay, we have free methods and we have paid options. Okay. With that, we also have, fast options and we have slow options. Okay, so we're going to break all of these down. And we have fast options. Okay. Oh, picked up the whole word. There we go. Okay, so we have fast ways and we have slow ways. The reason most practice owners get stuck and frustrated inside the marketing is because they're just too focused on the bottom part of this matrix, the free ways that are slow or fast. And they really just get lost in the sauce and trying to figure this whole thing out. Okay. The problem with focusing on the bottom is that they take the most time. It's not free. It's never free. You're purchasing something. So instead of using your resources, you're paying for these results with your time and with your hustle. And the results are by far the least predictable. And so let's start with the free and the fast way, this bottom right quadrant here. And so inside of here, there's a couple different ways that are free and that are fast. If you have any guesses on what these are, throw them in the comments for me in case I miss them. So for us, they're referrals. And let's shrink this up a little bit here. Let's go like 19. Okay, so we have referrals. These are obviously extremely important. Every single business and every business owner is pretty darn good at sticking up with referrals and getting clients to refer to them. Then we have emails and we have SMS. And so email and SMS are obviously so important. You need to stay in front of your client. You need to share with them what's new and you need to build that trust. But texting is also so incredibly important. Inside of our practice, we generate at least 5 patients a month with a very simple texting campaign that goes out every 30 to 45 days, just reaching out to them, asking how they're doing. It's a different message every time. It's not promotional. It's designed to feel like we're just thinking of you and we want to know, like, how are you doing right now? Is there anything I can help you with? And just that conversational thread starts so many conversations, get so many leads that never became patients to come in, and so many patients that were already discharged to come back in. So texting is extremely important, but these strategies are extremely effective, but they're much more useful for practices that already have a substantial number of patients coming in, because these strategies are really only helpful if you have patients already coming in and you already have people on your email list and on your texting list. And so these are really considered bottom of the funnel strategies, meaning that these people are already pretty well adapted to you. They know who you are already, and they've already subscribed to your email list or they've already worked with you. And so for those reasons, we're not really going to focus on these today, just because today I want to focus exclusively on the strategies that are going to get you more patients quickly rather than focusing on how to reactivate and nurture your patients. So we'll do that in a future training. But today we're going to focus on the 3 strategies that I recommend that really involve the last 3 quadrants of this matrix here. And so let's keep going. So there's the free way and the slow way. Okay, so this is where the majority of practice owners spend all of their time in their marketing. Why so many physical therapists absolutely hate marketing? Because the free and slow way of marketing consists of all the shiny objects that people think they need to be focused on, which is really frustrating because it's actually the last quadrant that you really want to rely and bet your practice's success on. And so inside of the free and slow way, we have things like events and free assessments that we do at like maybe a running event. Okay, so although this might be free, we got to take time to actually schedule these things and get these actually rolling. And it's a hit or miss depending on the type of event, especially because even though it might be a running event, it might be full of the best clients that you can work with. At the end of the day, if 6 people come up to your booth at once, you only are able to give one person enough attention, maybe be able to turn them into a patient. It can get pretty dicey pretty quickly if it's a really good event. And so, although it's very effective, it's not my favorite one or where I recommend putting the majority of your focus. Next, we have social media. And so one of the biggest questions I get is like, should I be focused on Instagram? Should I be focused on creating TikTok videos? And honestly, my response is, if that's something that you enjoy doing, any kind of marketing can work if you're able to be consistent with it. And so if you don't enjoy making content, that's okay. You don't have to do it. Most of our clients don't produce consistent content, nor do they actually get a ton of patients from it. There's a lot of other things you can do. So if you want to do TikTok, go ahead and do it. But understand, creating content on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok, all these things are long-tailed strategies, meaning it takes a while for them to build momentum. Even our YouTube channel, I don't expect this to be a massive channel, at least for the next 6 to 12 months. And so understand that social media content, it is a long-term play. And so if you need patients right now, I wouldn't recommend focusing on social media. There's other things that you should put your focus on that's going to move the needle much, much faster in your business. And once you have momentum, once you have cash flow and you are positive, you have a little bit more time and you're able to buy more of your time back by investing in marketing like paid ads, it gives you your time back. That is when I would start to focus on creating content, because a half-baked content strategy where you're just kind of like doing it every now and then just to get content out there, that's never going to yield results for you. And so I would not recommend focusing a ton of your efforts and time on posting on social media when you're first getting started. There's other areas that are much more fruitful and deserving of your time. Okay, so outside of posting on TikTok, social media, and Instagram, there's blogging. Blogging is another option that a lot of people are doing. And so blogging is extremely good. It's really good for your SEO. It helps give people more context into your expertise, gives more people a chance to get to know you and build a little bit more trust. But again, blogging is a very long-tailed strategy. Even if you're running ads to a blog, it is very difficult to turn those blog viewers into patients, because you need automated emails, you need funnel pages, you need follow-up processes to get those blog readers actually to become patients. And so again, blogging, very good in the long term. It's great for your SEO, but not what you want to do right now if you need patients. There's other areas where you should be putting your focus instead of blogging. Okay, so just like social media, just like blogging, these should come as kind of after back burner types of marketing strategies when you have more time, when you've already maximized the amount of effort you put towards this last one that we'll talk about in the free and slow section. So workshops. Workshops are the reason my partner Ben was able to build his practice to over $130,000 in his first year, and he did it all through running workshops. And not only that, but the majority of the clients that come and work with Clinical Marketer who are already doing multiple 5 figures in their practice, they were all able to get to that point because they put all of their effort into doing workshops. And for this reason, it's actually the first essential marketing strategy every single practice should be doing right now with the time that they have. Now, some people have more time than others, but in either case, you need to be doing workshops and events and getting your face out there where you're able to market to masses of people all at once, a core part of your overall strategy, because there's not only is the fastest free way to get new people to learn about your business and actually come and do business with you. It's also the fastest way to develop the skills that you need to become an excellent business owner. You need to be able to talk to strangers. You need to be able to talk about and sell your services in front of other strangers, and you need to be able to talk in front of masses of people. You need to develop the conviction and belief in yourself that you are worth the rates that you are charging. And the only way to develop that conviction is falling on your face a few times. And so by developing this, you become a much, much better leader. And by overcoming a lot of the struggles and the fears that people have with public speaking, it also helps you develop crucial business relationships that can keep you afloat when the economy's down, or when paid ads or Facebook just exploded one day. You need to have strategic business relationships to be able to keep yourself running and keep yourself your business open, and to make sure that you constantly are keeping tabs on what your market is doing and what changes are happening within that marketing ecosystem. So here's what I recommend to every practice owner trying to build an initial caseload, especially if they can't afford paid ads yet. Okay, contact at least 10 potential referral sources every single week with the goal of getting at least one face-to-face meeting. Okay, if you can get that face-to-face meeting, you can do so by asking them when you can attend classes where you can talk to them for 5 minutes. You can ask them for out for a cup of coffee. You can tell them that you're interested in potentially referring some of your patients over to their business. All of these are a great way to just get your foot in the door to actually meet these people. So you should be able to get at least one face-to-face meeting if you contact 10 people every single week. This is what we have our entire team do on a weekly basis. It's a part of their weekly efficiency scorecard that we have all of our team members do. And if you can get one face-to-face meeting every single week, that should at least turn into 1 to 2 workshops every single month. Okay, now you want to schedule workshops out about a month at least. You have time to prepare for it, but you can start doing this now over time. If you can stay consistent with it, you will have at least 1 to 2 workshops every single month. And if you can do 1 to 2 workshops every single month, if you're properly marketing those workshops and you're selling in those workshops at an effective rate, around 20% of your audience is closing, you should be able to generate anywhere between 5 to 10 new patients per month, which should be enough to get you over that 5-figure a month mark within your practice. Okay, so the strategies inside of the free and slow section can either be extremely powerful or a massive distraction. Okay, I suggest focusing entirely on workshops. Make occasional posts and content if that's what you enjoy doing. But if you don't, that time it would be much better spent scheduling more workshops, because that's what is going to produce patients faster 9 times out of 10. Okay, I'm a fan of posting content, but only if it's a strategy that is producing patients right now. You got to understand that if you need a caseload, you don't want to be focused on these long-tailed marketing strategies. You want to put all of your effort on the things that are going to pay the bills right away. And if you're just starting out, it is most definitely workshops. Okay, so the real purpose of this lower section, this free, slow, and fast section, is to really stop relying on it as fast as humanly possible. We're trying to ascend to the paid section as quickly as possible, because as soon as you have the patients and the cash flow, you need to ascend to these upper quadrants over here, where we become investors of our business, where we actually become CEOs and business owners, where we can buy our time back, because no longer does our revenue determined by the amount of effort we put into marketing. Okay, and so most practices never really reach their full potential because they never leave this bottom free quadrant. They're afraid to become the investor within their business. So let's talk real quick about the paid and slow quadrant inside of your marketing options here. So inside of here, we got a number of different possibilities. Okay, so we have what a lot of people do, and I really don't recommend doing this almost ever. There are instances where you can do this, but boosting content. Okay, so a lot of people who come to us to learn Facebook ads, they all say like, "Oh, I've ran ads before. I've boosted a few posts." That is not running paid ads. Okay, boosting content is a really great way to build awareness about your brand, but it is not a great way to create direct response patients that are scheduling on your door within the next few days. Okay, and so if you're just starting out, again, I do not recommend boosting content. If you're an established business and you're trying to build a little bit more market share and start beating down some of the competitors you have, that's when you want to start boosting posts and pushing more content, making sure more people are seeing it. But when you are just getting started, it is not where you want to put your focus. Okay, the other piece where you do want to start putting your focus is on SEO and or otherwise called Google Business Profile, aka Google My Business, aka Google My Business. Okay, and so Google SEO is something that a lot of people are like, "Oh, that stuff doesn't work," blah blah blah. Yes, it does. It's just that there's so many different marketers out there that sell stuff that doesn't actually work, and so it's left a bad taste in pretty much everyone's mouth. So I know most of you are probably thinking like, SEO is not a paid thing. Yeah, I can do SEO. I do SEO all the time. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend doing it the free way. There are so many things that go into having a successful SEO campaign. It is not worth your time to learn it. It is a full-time job. So it's really not worth trying to figure out on your own. This is something that I would absolutely hire out, just because to do it right, there are so many things that need to be done if you do want to actually rank on the first page of Google. So you likely, if you did it yourself, you could learn these things, but honestly, because it is a long tail strategy, it does take a while for SEO to really take hold and pay dividends. Most people get bored of doing it after just 30 days, and because they think, "Oh, this isn't working." They don't have the instant gratification when doing it, and so they give up. And so this is just something highly recommend outsourcing, because this strategy, although it does take a while to pay out, it's also been a core focus at ProKinetics for the last 3 years. And because of that, today, because we put in the labor on the front end, now our Google My Business and our online listings add $60,000 a month to our practice, because we focus so heavily on making sure that we are the top ranked physical therapy clinic within our areas. And so because we put in all that front end work, we understand the value of SEO, now is the time that we're finally really scaling because of it. So find an SEO agency that has a track record for success. Don't just hire any random Joe Schmo that says, "Hey, I took an SEO course, I know how to do this stuff." Don't do that. Stay away from people that only do things like list building or citation building or reputation management, because that is the smallest, easiest, most useless part of SEO in general. It's basically people that pay for a tool, they outsource the whole thing, trick you into spending $500 a month and don't do jack. Okay, what you really want is to find someone who is going to do your on-site SEO, making sure that your pages, your meta titles, or meta tags and H1 tags are optimized for whatever keywords that make most sense for your practice. Okay, you want to make sure you have someone that's going to help make tweaks to your website, because your website doesn't convert, your SEO doesn't mean a whole lot. And you want your website to convert at least 10% of people into scheduled appointments or inquiries about your services. You want to write blogs that emphasize and focus on specific keywords that you want to rank for. And you also want to have what's called Web 2.0 pages that are being built. And these are external websites that are pointing back to your website that basically tells Google, like, oh my gosh, there's all these different businesses writing about this person. They have more authority, they have more credibility, and so I'm going to rank them a little bit higher. And so you want all of those things in addition to list building and SEO, or list building and reputation management. Those are the two easiest parts of SEO, and agencies that do those things are what give SEO a bad name. Find someone that's going to give you the works, okay, not just the sides. Okay, and so very, very important. If you start focusing on this now, a year from now is when it's really going to start paying dividends, and you're going to be starting to hit numbers like Ben, where it's adding an extra $60,000 every single month, because everyone is going to his listing first when they're looking for physical therapy services. So there are a ton of garbage agencies that are out there. Find yourself one that actually knows their stuff. If you want to talk to us about our SEO programs, just comment SEO below in the comments. We'll be happy to send you some information about how we can help get your business listed on Google. And so lastly, so just a quick recap here. So the two main strategies that you want to focus on are workshops and SEO. All these other things, although they're sexy, although they're shiny, although it feels like this is something I should be doing right now, they're not where you want to focus your time if you're doing less than $15,000 to $20,000 a month inside of your practice. If you're doing less than $20,000, focus on doing workshops, focus on building your SEO for that long-term gain. Okay, so posting on social media, although it is great, it can definitely pay the bills and definitely can bring in patients. There's a lot more variables that are involved with turning that into a profitable strategy. And so if I was just starting out and I'm trying to fill my schedule as quickly as possible, I would be focused on doing workshops, because it not only brings in the patients, but also helps develop me or the business owner into the person that they need to become to be capable of achieving the goals that they have for their business. Okay, you got to get beaten up a little bit. You got to be not afraid to go out there and stand your ground, have the conviction to sell yourself, and be able to talk about what you do in front of people if you're ever going to have a thriving business where you have time freedom and have the lifestyle that you're ultimately looking for. And so the last piece here is the last stage, paid advertising that works quickly. And so this is our realm of expertise. This is the area that I love, and ultimately where everyone needs to be focused on trying to get to. The main areas of growth inside of this quadrant are Facebook ads, and Google ads. Okay, so these are the two primary means of growth in this stage. For Facebook ads, this is our wheelhouse. This is what we've been perfecting for the last 10 years. This is what we're really great at. And so this is 100% where I recommend people, as soon as they can, get involved with doing it. Okay, so the reason I recommend Facebook ads over Google ads initially is because it requires far less time to actually manage, and you are not restricted by the amount of search volume of people looking for physical therapy. Obviously, many of you know that a lot of people that need physical therapy do not know they need physical therapy. So advertising on Facebook allows us to market to a much larger bucket, educating them on what physical therapy can do for them. And it requires less than 2 hours a week to actually manage this stuff when done correctly. And so Facebook ads are one of the fastest ways to get your practice off the ground. And a lot of people have the misconception that they need to be hitting a certain revenue number every single month before they start investing in paid ads. That couldn't be further from the truth. I started my practice in October of 2021, and we scaled the entire thing with Facebook ads because it was a new practice. We knew nobody in the area. We had no pre-existing patients, and the buddy that I partnered up with needed to make money immediately. So we didn't have time for workshops to actually, the relationships to develop and workshops to get scheduled. We needed money now. And so we launched our Facebook ad strategy, and luckily we have some experience in doing that. And so it's successful right away. And using nothing but Facebook ads, we scaled that practice from 0 patients, $0 to $15,000 a month in recurring revenue just within 4 to 5 months. all with Facebook ads. And so the notion that you need to be hitting a certain area or a certain success rate or certain revenue number before you invest in Facebook ads is completely incorrect. The main thing that you do need to pay attention to is, do I have the cash flow to be able to invest what is required to get a reasonable return back? And so what we're seeing is, and what we have all of our clients do, is spend $50 a day on Facebook ads, because that's going to be enough for us to figure out our baseline numbers as quickly as possible so we can start making informed decisions within our marketing. And so $50 a day for us is on average generating $5,000 to $10,000 a month from those Facebook ads. And so as long as you can spend $1,500 for a single month without you having to foreclose on your house or go hungry, then I definitely recommend investing in Facebook ads if you have someone to help you do it. Don't do this trial and error kind of advertising, because if you're just spending $5 a day, I can tell you right now, a good cost per lead is going to be around 40%. Around $40 to $50. So if you're only spending $4 a day, you're only going to get one good lead every 2 weeks. And so that isn't it's not even worth the effort to put into it. At that point, I would just focus all in on workshops until you get the volume to be able to spend what is required to make Facebook ads truly successful. And so the whole point of advertising is to be able to get yourself to a point and find yourself a method that allows you to acquire as many patients as possible with the least amount of time possible. And so it all starts with doing workshops, the hustle and the grind. But as soon as you start getting enough volume to be able to confidently put $50 a day into ads, do it, because you need to be eventually buy your time back so you can focus on doing what matters, delivering a world-class experience and doing the administrative work to help scale and grow that practice. And so those are the three primary marketing tools that we've used to scale our practice to over $1 million a year. It started out with workshops. And as we've developed those workshops, we focused very heavily on growing our local SEO. We worked with a group to help perfect our website so it was converting at least 10%. We hired an SEO agency to focus on our on-site SEO initially. Luckily now we've mastered those systems and those tools. We can do that ourselves now. But at the time we hired someone to help take care of that because we understood the long-term investment. We also then supplemented what the SEO agency was doing by putting a very big emphasis on making sure that we're collecting 1 to 2 Google reviews every single week, because it is very important in your search rankings that you not only have a high ranking within your Google reviews, but your frequency is very high. We even offered our patients to write the Google review for them. And we'd send it to them over an email so they can just copy and paste it in. The reason we did that is a very big part of how your Google reviews are ranked and prioritized is how much does that Google review actually tell a story? Does that Google review have the keywords that your brand wants to rank for? And so if you want really juicy reviews that are going to help you rank better, write them on behalf of your patients, send it to them as an email so they can just copy and paste it or make whatever edits they want and share it in there. That's going to help you rank a lot higher. And so we focus very heavily on the SEO because now today, thank God we did, it's generating almost $100,000 a month for us. Now, in addition to that, once we were really pumping at that clinic, it was time to scale with Facebook ads. And because we started growing with Facebook ads, we're adding anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a month just from paid ads, which then fuels our word of mouth, which then fuels our referrals, and continues to help us fill our schedule, make new hires, and continue to scale our practice. And so growing and scaling your practice doesn't always mean adding in all these new shiny things. Sometimes it's really just doubling and tripling down on what you already know to be working. And so no, Ben doesn't do workshops anymore, but we require every single one of our staff PTs to do outreach every week, have one face-to-face meeting with a referral source and to schedule those workshops. And then on top of all of those things, on top of the SEO that we're doing, we're continuing to fuel the fire and scale using Facebook ads. Now, Google ads, once you have a Facebook ad system that is sustainable, that is profitable, that you can hand off to an admin or to an agency once you already have a system that works, that is when you start adding in Google ads and start scaling on those marketing channels. But far too many people are just trying to do way too much. Remember, simplicity scales. Focus on the smallest thing that you can do that's going to create a big result until that system is systematized. You have a process for it. You're able to delegate it, then move on to the next thing. And so if you want to do social media and content marketing, I encourage you to do that. Obviously, we do that. But I'm telling you right now, I would not focus on doing content if I didn't know I already had a sustainable system for generating clients. you shouldn't either. So focus on the thing that's going to move the needle the fastest, systematize it, then work on that next channel. Once you have a sustainable way of getting patients in the door, that's when you can start putting in all the effort to really find the content strategy that's going to be profitable for you and your business. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If you guys want help with your SEO or your workshops or your Facebook ads, just comment me below and we'll follow up with you to talk you through and show you what strategies we're currently doing to grow our practices and what best practices in marketing in 2022 for your cash physical therapy practice. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to comment and ask any questions that you have. And if you want to see more training like this, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or go into the settings inside of our group and turn on alerts so that whenever we drop new trainings, you get notified and you don't miss it. So everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for being